Hello and good morning from New Britain, Connecticut. Early morning. So it is show day. We are we're heading to the casino, the EC3 Con, for a 2-day show. And today, I think I had these weird or different expectations of how I wanted to kind of start vlogging on YouTube. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'll just document some things and put it together and it'll string over a couple of days. But I was looking at how much time the footage was that it took for yesterday to just do. So I think I might just go daily. I have loaded all the clips into my app editor, and so I'll probably do that, start posting stuff maybe on Monday. But figure today we'll just kind of separate it, and today will be the first day of the show. So I was going to talk about some of the pressures of actually doing sports cards and memorabilia shows, and kind of give you a little behind the scenes of what goes on, my thoughts, my preparation. I've always had a little bit, I don't say a little bit, but like there's definitely some anxiety there as far as like the obligation to like set up. So here I am trying to get a good night's sleep, and I made sure that I went to bed early enough, but the alarm's set for 3:45. It is currently, I don't know, 3 a.m. So I basically just said, okay, I couldn't get back to sleep, and here we are. So we got the coffee going. But a little trick to not sleep through the alarm that I do sometimes, even when I'm down at the Philly show, and the Philly show is 3 weeks away, so we're gonna document that too, because that's a whole different animal. But a little trick that I do to kind of get going so that I don't like fall back to sleep, because sometimes I get up and I shut the alarm off and I'm just sitting there, and my body's just like, oh my god, just like, what are you doing? And sometimes I fall back to sleep, and I might lose a half an hour, and that half an hour is crucial to get to where you got to get to, either on time or even early. So you want to get to the shows as early as you can, and be respectful and things like that. In a situation like today, like obviously I'm obligated to get in there on time. I have a time slot that I have to be there by, because there's only so much room for the dealers to load in, and it is at the casino. So I'm an hour away, and my scheduled time slot to load in is 7 a.m. So I got to do everything I got to do to get there. So leaving at 6, you get up in the morning, and you want to kind of take care of all your rituals, your bathroom rituals, shower, get ready, whatever. So you got to get up early. So you got to get up hours before, and it's a long day because we're there till 6 o'clock. So, but there's a lot, like I don't, if you don't set up and do shows, I don't know if just like how much you have to do to get ready to do shows. I mean, I'm in a pickle right now, because I have, as you saw from yesterday, I have, piles of vintage cards that would sell at this show that I didn't even get the price. Now, granted, I bought the deal on Tuesday. I probably should have hauled ass and probably taken care of that first, but I mean, there's so many plates that I'm spinning, I couldn't even get to it. I'm going to bring the deal down in the raw. I might try to sell it. I kind of figured out where I have to be. And I might just try to flip the whole deal. I might just lay it out and showcase it complete raw and just see how it looks, and just put a number on it. I doubt if anybody's going to buy it that way, and I'm probably going to have to break it, but it'll look cool. I'll get a lot of questions. It'll also hedge if somebody comes in and wants to sell stuff. I'm like, well, this is what this stuff kind of goes for, this and that. So I'm going to do some pricing now. Not on that stuff. I have other things that I need to price, and just try to get as ready as possible. I have a couple hours, so we got to get breakfast in. We got to get a shower in. Thankfully, I packed most of my overnight bag. I may be staying down there because we got the weather. That's another thing that can be anxiety and stress-inducing. I will say, over the years, I'm not saying I've done shows for 30 years in a row, but I basically been paying taxes on my cards for almost 30 years, since 1997, and so 27, 28 years. But and I've done shows from 96 to present, but just not every year consistently. So people that know me, I've been part of the show scene, Philly show, White Plains, Hofstra, in some cases up in Massachusetts. But I've had runs of shows where I've done 15 multi-day shows a year for 7 years in a row. And then I took a little bit of a break in 2015, kind of geared back up right before COVID. I was like, okay, we're going to make another run at shows. And then COVID hit, and my wife has chronic Lyme disease, which is an immune compromised disease. And so I couldn't do a show and, bring home something that, would get her really sick. So I kind of put off doing shows for a couple more years. And then finally, I think in 2022 is when I made that splash back. And so the last 3 years have been, pretty actively doing the multi-day shows. And it's been great. But there's a lot that goes behind getting ready, So we'll talk a little bit more about that on the ride down. Just in general, when you work for yourself, obviously the motivation is to get up and to make money every day, and you should be driven. But this guy likes to sleep in a little bit. So when you get your sleep disrupted and you're up so much earlier than you normal are, or knowing that you have to get up early, it's tough the night before. Like you're like, because you're counting down, like, great, I only have 6 hours left to sleep. And then you look at the clock and it's like, oh, now you only have 5 hours you have to sleep. You have 4 hours left. I'm like, oh my God, am I even going to get a good night out of this? So again, it's going to be a long day today. Those are all little factors that, you're always kind of thinking about or whatever. But again, all the years of experience have made me feel a lot better about doing it. So I think the more you do shows, the more you understand the process, and, and you just try to do the best that you can, and that's it. So lots of times, for local shows, I set up at, I'll set up in Enfield, and I'm like, so I'll get up at 5, and the show opens at 8 to the early birds or whatever. Sometimes I don't get there till 8:30 because I'm pricing a deal like right beforehand, that I just picked up, or just. So there's just, I don't know, there's just like a lot of things that happen. I guess things that I can still do and learn is like, you got to cut yourself off from processing so that you could just get there. So and I guess while I'm here, an interesting story about not cutting yourself off. I remember setting up at the White Plains shows 1 year, back in like maybe 2015, 2014. And I had to get stuff ready for the show. I missed like all the early bird stuff. I think I got down there right before the show opened, but I was still pricing stuff till like maybe 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And most of the dealers already loaded in. They're there. Show opens up early bird 1 o'clock. And I'm like just getting in my car at like 12, getting down there for 1, and just like setting up as the show opens. And I had to do that to make sure that I had a lot of my inventory ready. But I remember getting a call from the promoter going, dude, where are you? There's tons of people here. And I was just like, I got to get this done, And then, of course, I was like nervous, thinking I'm like hitting a little bit of traffic because it closed down a lane, and just all sorts of stuff. So, but we're just going to keep plowing through today. And today will be its own day. And we'll get lots of footage because, hey, listen, we're headed to the casino. And we have no idea if we're going to stay down that way tonight or if we're coming back home. So that doesn't even bother me. That's fine. I don't mind grabbing a hotel on the fly and just, whatever. But what would stress me out would be white knuckling it on the way back if there's like a ton of snow, and then I got to figure out that I got to get back down there the next morning early. So it would make sense to stay down there if we do get hit with severe weather. So anyways, I'll check back in a little bit, probably when we're all fueled up for breakfast and whatever. So, all right. Okay, so let's turn this down.
We're just warming up the vehicle. It is 6:10 in the morning. I'm supposed to get down there for 7. Looks like we'll be just about on time, give or take a few. The whole passenger seat here is loaded with product, and the back almost to the ceiling is loaded with product. It's amazing because I gave Robert, who was set up at Plainville this morning, a good amount of inventory, an 8-foot table's worth. So, and here I probably have 3 8-foot tables or a booth and a half, 2 booths worth of stuff that I'm going to try to cram on a one, basically two 8-foot tables, which in some places would be considered one booth. A lot of times, like at White Plains, the White Plains show, the technical term for a booth is you get an 8 and a 6-foot table, and that's a booth. So here I'm getting 2 8s, and yeah, so we're gonna hit the road, and probably I'll check in just a little bit while we're on the road, give you some more thoughts on the day, and we'll take it from there. All right, the sun is coming up, and it's almost 6:30, and honestly probably the least stressful part about today's show and just all of the things it takes to get in and get set up. I mean, I probably have multiple. Well, I was gonna say was the least stressful thing is the drive down. This drive is pretty smooth. I live right by Hartford, so this early in the morning there's like no Hartford traffic, and we're just cruising down Route 2 all the way to the casino, and that's pretty much it. So it's going to be a smooth drive. But yeah, the stressful part of just like getting there, and you got loaded, and there's a bunch of other dealers there, and you're just, I don't know, jockeying around and doing whatever. But I probably have 2 to 2.5 cartloads of stuff, and I can't remember exactly where we're loading. I think we're going to be loading into the room that we were in September, which is good because where the parking lot is, it's pretty close to the room as far as like dragging your car, because the casino is like basically all carpeted. So when we were in the other room, we had to park in the winter parking lot, and then drag your carts across carpet for what seems like forever. So I mean, it's like a quarter of a mile or something like that. I mean, you're going down one corridor, down a little ramp, going to another corridor, and then I think you finally get into your room. So this one I think is much more closer as far as a load in. And in 1 mile, keep right. Thank you. I don't want to make it seem like I know this is kind of like just showing you a little bit behind the scenes of my thought process when I'm getting ready for a show and stuff like that, and talking about the stresses and anxieties. But I do want to be very clear that I feel very fortunate and blessed that this is my profession. There are some times that I bitch about things, or you just get tired of. I can't believe I'm saying this, but like maybe because I've been doing this for so long. But sometimes I just get tired of doing cards, and it's tough to even. It's tough to even get into doing, say, like social media stuff and whatever, because I am passionate about it. But it's like, so lots of times, like it comes down to I could either make money or I can make videos, and so. And by the time I feel like I have like the car mechanic syndrome, like they got a sweet like hot rod or muscle car that they're working on at home, but they're a mechanic during the day, so they don't feel like working on that car when they get home. It's kind of like a very similar situation. I might be going for 8 to 15 hours in a day, and then the last thing I want to do is cut a video because and talk about, be enthusiastic about cards. It's tough. I just want to just kind of zone out and relax. Like, right, we're all human. So I just wanted to kind of make it a point that I am very appreciative of that I get to do this for a living. But it's not stress-free. I mean, I had I decided to leave that vintage lot at home. I don't think it would have, the small amount of time I had to get stuff ready, and I used my experience to make these decisions, but I focused on stuff that I may only be able to sell at this show. So I just kind of did that, and I said, it's kind of a weird spot to be in, because you spend a good amount of money on a certain on a deal, and this is a big show. This is like, if I had that stuff priced out, I could really pile it on, as far as taking in a good amount of money. My expectations for the show are not going to be great. It's going to cost me over $600 to be there for the weekend, for today and tomorrow. That's not including hotel. So the expenses are very high, and that is pressure, and that can cause stress and anxiety. So fortunately, I do have a good foundation of inventory that just happens to get me through shows, and I do fairly well. But it's expensive to sell your cards. It really is. This is a high tax, but the promoter does a great job, with this show. He brings in tons of people, and it's on the dealer to make the money when the promoter is doing everything he can to get people through the door. So, listen, I used to do shows. I used to run a small baseball card show. It's the first Sunday of every month. I don't know why I'm trying to pass this guy, and he goes to the left. Nice. So I'm going to be that guy and pass on the right. But anyways, so I used to run shows for 7 years. I did from 2008 to 2015, and that was stressful because the hobby was at its most desolate at that time, and there wasn't a waiting list for dealers, and people did not have the money to come out and buy stuff at the shows, and they didn't even come out and look around. There was really not a lot of action as far as like the potential things going up, so there was definitely like no FOMO or anything like that. And on top of that, not only was it hard to fill the tables, it was hard to bring the customers out, so it was a really bad situation for me. And ultimately, I just got tired. By 2015, I got tired of it. My last year that I ran the shows, I think I took in like $100 in profit for running 10 shows. And I just said, okay, I'm good. And, with that, I cut out all the, some of the dealers that are, complaining. It can be very dramatic. I remember getting complaints about, oh, this guy's outside smoking cigarettes, and it's cigarette smoke's blowing in, and it's bothering me. And this guy came in early and basically put his cards on an empty table and sold something to a customer, and you're not advertising enough, which I was. I was like, okay, I'm done. I just didn't have anything left, and I got into consulting, and I still always bought and sold cards, and I was getting ready to do another big show run. Back in 2020, I literally did my first multi-day show in like almost 5 years, and like that next week COVID hit. So it was like that February, I was down in March White Plains, and then COVID hit, and my wife's got chronic Lyme, and obviously I didn't want to bring that home, and and here we are. But I think I said that before, but we'll get back into it. So anyways, off to the casino. Enough of me ranting. We're gonna hope to have a good show no matter what, and try to capture people's information so that I can enlighten them with any kind of either promotions that I'm doing or social media or anything like that. So that's definitely the goal for the weekend, and whatever we do is what we do. So, all right. Okay, just arrived at the casino. It's just after 7 o'clock. And this is the load-in, and there's a huge line, so I don't know if there was a delay or what was going on, but this isn't great. So again, more stress and anxiety, but really it's just kind of sit and wait, and I'm sure everybody will get in due time, but I did not expect there to be this kind of a backup at this time, since everybody's got designated time slots, and I don't know if I don't know if there's a holdup on their end where they're just not letting people in yet, and then, you know, whatever. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. It would be horrible if this is not the line to get into the show. So we'll see. It's funny because there's a rental truck way up ahead that it looks like, I don't know, I can't tell if they drove all the way up and they were trying to cut off the head guy, but at one point it was like a double, like the guy was like in a double lane, and they might send him to go back all the way around. I don't know. But it's a beautiful day out. No, it's my face. So it's kind of interesting. We got a car coming down the one way here. I don't know what is going on. It's obnoxious. Holy cow. So like two guys almost got hit from a guy that's just, oh, okay, I know what they're doing. So some guy tried coming in from the other way, and they basically sent him to the back of the line. That's what they did. So rightfully so. I finally saw somebody come out. So finally people, I guess, are getting unloaded. It kind of reminds me of when the venue for the Philly show was at the Valley Forge Casino. There would be like a bottleneck. So you just kind of sit and wait. And this exact reason is why some of the older school dealers will show up at like 5, because they want to be first. They want to be first in line. I can't believe that there's this kind of a line here, especially since, you know, you had all time staggered, which means nobody's listening to the times, or nobody was adhering to when they were supposed to show up. So I might have been 5 minutes late, but you know, it's just like I said, I think they're just having issues with people loading and unloading, or unloading.
Good morning.
Morning.
As soon as you're all settled in, put your ID tags on.
Will do. Thank you. This is the room. Let's find our table. Okay, so we are tables 162 and 163. So we're heading down to the Incas Ballroom, which is what the show is. Pick this escalator up. It's not professional here, not slip and fall. Alright. Look at this, we got some major setup going on. Okay, so I'm in, my car is parked, and we got a mess here. I gotta get all this set up in the next hour or so. I mean, I got plenty of time, which is good. But we're gonna get this done, and we'll see how it looks after. I'm not gonna show you like the fast, well, what was it? I'm not gonna show you the time-lapse process. I don't need to set that up, not yet, so. Whew, I am tired. So I've been here Well, no, I was up since 3. I've been here since about 7:30. It is 3 o'clock now. We have 3 hours left. It place is packed. So kudos to the promoter for packing the house. There's a lot of Pokemon stuff going on, but I'm doing fine. I did well. Discuss more about that later. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to check in, and that's it.